Welcome to the channel PK 2023. Hope everyone has a good time watching our videos.
Erling Haaland breaks scoring record for a Premier League season on night of City milestones. He may have taken a wrecking ball to the history books this season, but it was with the most delicate of touches that Erling Haaland finally demolished the Premier League scoring record. Truth be told, the Manchester City striker had not much of a look in until then, but there was still an inevitability about the goal, and that is part of what makes him so damn good. His patience, that unwavering belief the goal will come. And what a landmark goal this was. Number 35 of a quite extraordinary league campaign that sweeps him past Andy Cole and Alan Shearer as the outright greatest goal scorer since English football's great rebranding in 1992, and still with 5 league games to play. Victory moved City back above Arsenal at the top of the table, a point ahead with a game in hand. And just as surely as it is hard to believe the champions will squander the initiative at this stage, so it is difficult to think Haaland will not add a bunch more goals before the season is out. He actually has the most league goals in a top-flight season now since Ron Davies plundered 37 for Southampton in 1966-67, so that is doubtless the next target to topple. And would anyone be surprised if he runs Dixie Dean's all-time English record of 63 goals in a top-flight campaign close? Currently on 51, City's goal machine needs 12 to match it. City's players and staff marked the occasion at the final whistle by forming a guard of honor as each took turns to slap this hulking figure as he powered his way through the throng of bodies and limbs. It made for quite the scene. To put Haaland's feats into some context, Phil Foden's goal late on marked the 1000th scored by City under manager Pep Guardiola, and the Norwegian accounts for 5% of them, despite having only played 45 games for the club. Haaland is averaging a goal every 71 minutes in the Premier League this season, so his latest one came pretty much bang on cue and, in doing so, calmed the lingering nerves of the manager and home supporters who grasped just how hard West Ham were making things as City nursed a delicate 1-0 lead thanks to Nathan Ake's header. There was just under half an hour to go when the City manager let his frustration with the crowd be known. Gesturing in an exasperated manner for the fans to raise the noise level and help lift their team in the process, he got the response he hoped for. And Haaland the goal he craved, or, rather, waited calmly to arrive. It originated from a mistake from Danny Ings, the West Ham substitute, giving the ball away to Bernardo, who redirected it quickly into the path of Jack Grealish. Grealish had been one of City's standout performers all game, along with John Stones and Rodri, and the moment he released Haaland through on goal, the outcome never felt in doubt. Indeed, the side of Paulo Carrer giving fruitless chase is one with which far too many defenders have become well acquainted. As Lucas Fabianski advanced, Haaland nonchalantly dinked the ball over the West Ham goalkeeper, a quite gorgeous touch of the ball, before wheeling away in celebration as the Etihad rose in acclaim. Sitting in that familiar yoga pose, Haaland was mobbed by teammates. What a player. What a season. And with more treats still to come, one suspects. City fans had come, principally, in the hope, or is that expectation, of seeing two things: their team reclaiming top spot and a record-breaking night from their number 9, so they did not leave disappointed. But West Ham made them sweat it out for a good while. Despite losing Declan Rice, Thomas Soucek and Naja figured to illness only hours before kickoff, which meant David Moyes was only able to name 5 outfield substitutes. It was hard to believe they had been forced into a late rejig. It has been a good couple of months for Moyes, who has gradually turned West Ham's season around, and dragged himself away from the precipice in the process, and the first 45 minutes were about as well as anyone has dealt with City and Haaland of late. Grealish and Rodri both hit a post, but West Ham, by flooding the midfield and at times resembled a hearty 6-4-0, were proving a tough nut to crack. Haaland's most notable touch in the first half was probably a headed clearance in his one glimpse of goal before that record-breaking strike culminated in a fine sliding tackle from Carrer. Moyes' frustration, then, at seeing his team surrender much of that hard work by conceding from a set piece within 5 minutes of the restart, was understandable. The free kick, for a start, was a cheap one to concede after Flynn Downs brought down Grealish. Riyad Mahrez then flighted the free kick over the West Ham defence and last man Angelo Ogbonnajuwere, back in the side after injury, headed home. An unhappy Michail Antonio led the West Ham inquest. Even if they had held out for longer, though, there is another train of thought that they may merely have been delaying the inevitable. Haaland, after all, just cannot stop scoring.